Disney Cruise Line is said to be the premier cruise line for families, but what does that really mean? In today's adventure, we're taking you through the kids clubs and family-focused activities aboard the Disney Fantasy so that you know what to expect on your next cruise. We cannot overstate how good the kids clubs are aboard the Disney Fantasy. Our little guy would never go to a kids club for more than an hour aboard any other cruise ship, but he would close down the kids clubs on the Fantasy. So here's what you need to know. There are 5 kids clubs aboard the Disney Fantasy, each one aimed at a slightly different age group. While you can register your littles for the kids clubs when you board the ship, we'd strongly recommend registering in advance on the Disney Cruise Line website as soon as your booking window opens. The reason for this is that we ran into a huge line outside of the kids club when we boarded the ship to register our little guy and missed the sail-away party. So how much do the kids clubs aboard the Disney Fantasy cost? Well, with the exception of the one kids club, they are all complimentary to use once you've registered. The only potential expense that we encountered revolved around the magic bands used to check our little guy into and out of the kids club. If you don't already have a magic band for your little, Disney Cruise Line will provide you with one for use during the cruise. But be sure to return it at the end of the cruise or they will charge your stateroom a fee for the magic band. On our sailing, the fee was about $20. The other option here is to use the same magic band your child uses when they enter the Disney theme parks. The bands are secured on your child's wrist to make certain that they do not come off throughout the day. And speaking of entering and exiting the kids club, when you register your child online or in person at the club, you will be asked to choose a word that only you and your child will know for when you pick them up at the end of their stay at the club. So be sure to choose something that's easy to remember but unique to you and your family. So now that you know the basics of setting your little up for the kids club, let's take a little tour of each of the clubs, starting with It's a Small World Nursery. The It's a Small World Nursery is located on Deck 5. The nursery accepts children from 6 months to 3 years old. This is the only kids club aboard the ship that requires both advanced reservations as well as a fee for its use. And right next door on Deck 5 you have the Oceaneer Club. Now this is where things start to get a little messy. Up until recently, this club was open up to kids between the ages of 3 and 12. This has recently changed and the age limit has been adjusted down to ages 3 to 10. And our little guy is bummed about this. As I plan our next cruise, he'll have aged out of the club and really enjoyed hanging out in this space. And that's because this is one of the coolest places on the ship. It's here you can visit Andy's room, become a part of the Star Wars canon and train to fly an X-Wing, join the Marvel Superhero Academy, or hang out in Pixie Hollow. The Oceaneer Lab is connected to the Oceaneer Club by an internal bypass where the arts and crafts are centered. And it's the Oceaneer Lab side of the club that our little guy enjoyed the most, with its media room where the video games are kept, along with other simulators. This is the Oceaneer's Lab. You have the media lounge. You have the explorer's room. These are simulators. You have this cool floor here. Over there you have the Pirate's Cove in the far right hand corner. You have a craft studio over here. And the wheelhouse where you can play different Wii games. And over here you have the animator studio where you can draw. And the organized activities with the counselors are fun and engaging. Our little guy still plays the version of the card game Uno that they taught him here. We haven't experienced the Next Level Club yet, and we're not so sure that it will pack quite the same excitement for our preteen as the Oceaneer Club and its sister space, the Oceaneer's Lab, did. The next club level up is now for ages 11 to 14, and it's called Edge. On the Fantasy, the club is located inside the forward funnel on Deck 13, which is a cool hangout space. Here we go. So Edge is midship. We came up the elevator to Deck 12, and now we're taking the stairs up to 13. There's Wall-E and Eve. Edge open house. So this would be the next level up for my little guy. So he's 9 now, and this is where he would end up. Oh look, there's a special elevator. See, now you know what it'll look like when you're 11. This is where you'll come hang out. And here you'll find a dance floor that lights up, gaming console, and tablets for even more gaming, plus spaces to hang out and a space to watch movies. Happily, our little guy seemed to like this space because this will be where he'll have to hang out the next time we board our Disney cruise. And next up, you have Vibe. This is the club for those in the 14 to 17 age range. And the way that you access this is from deck 4. This is how you get up there. So it's here, in our opinion, that you'll find the fanciest of the kids club experiences, where the teens get to have their own pool deck with loungers, their own beverage bar, and individual pods for hanging out, just to name a few things. We were really impressed with the kids clubs aboard the Fantasy. Our little guy enjoyed each one that he went into, but hands down, his favorite was the Oceaneer Lab. He loved the activities in this space and the video games in particular. But before we leave the kids clubs to talk about the other family-focused activities around the ship, there are a few other things you'll need to know about the kids clubs. The hours of the clubs will vary from location to location and depending on whether it is a port or a sea day. So be sure to check with the Disney Cruise Line app for the latest hours or ask a Disney counselor for that day's schedule. And the activities will vary from day to day as well, though some do repeat. For instance, Dr. Strange dropped into the Oceaneer Club a few times during our sailing. So if you missed an activity, make sure to check the Disney Cruise Line app for that day's lineup. You might be able to catch it later in the day or later in the cruise. You should also know that with the exception of the nursery, the kids are not fed in the clubs. You'll either need to drop them off after a meal or pick them up to take them to lunch or dinner. The other thing that you should know is that the kids clubs do move on to Disney's private island Castaway Cay when they are docked there. While we didn't take part in the activities on Castaway Cay Day, they were available, and we do expect that this will be the same on their new island, Lighthouse Point. And if this is your first time on a Disney cruise, there are a few more things that you should know. The kids' activities don't just begin and end with the kids clubs. There is so much more to see and do, so to help you narrow down your options, we've got a video on what we believe are the top 10 activities aboard the Disney Fantasy that we'll link for you. But in the meantime, let's talk about our little guy's most anticipated activity aboard the Fantasy. The one thing that our little guy wanted to do more than anything was the Midship Detective Agency. And in case you don't know, the Midship Detective Agency is an interactive game that is played in the public areas of the ship. On the Fantasy, there are two versions of the game to choose from: the case of the plundered paintings and the case of the missing puppies. You'll be able to pick up your detective badge on Deck 2 midship right outside of the Enchanted Garden, or on Deck 5 across from the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. So, with your badge in hand, you'll navigate with your map throughout the ship from one interactive picture to another, collecting clues to solve your mystery. This one is fun for kids and adults alike, and it's only available on the Disney Fantasy and the Disney Dream. Also, don't forget to stop by the kids' pools. On Deck 11, you'll find the Mickey Pool, Donald's Pool, and Nemo's Reef Splash Pad. And on Deck 12, you'll find the Aqua Lab Splash Area, just outside of the Aqueduct, which is another must-do experience. And up on Deck 13, you'll find Goofy's Sports Deck, where you can shoot some hoops or play around on the 9-hole miniature golf course. And this is only a small sampling of the activities around a Disney cruise ship for families. There are the arts and crafts, bingo, karaoke, movies, shows, characters, and did we mention bingo? This little group loves a game of bingo, especially when we're winning. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, share, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so that you know when the next adventure begins. And no matter where your next adventures take you, we hope that you enjoy the journey. Bye now.